Okay, just reading Revelation 8. Now we're in chapter 9. A couple weeks ago, I think we read that note in chapter 6 telling us that the book of Revelation is just the same events happening from different perspectives, right? So chapter 8 was all these judgments falling on the earth, and they're all open the seventh seal. Where was that note? Oh yeah, right here in chapter 6. So just what, a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago rather. The standard interpretation of the book of Revelation is that the judgments in the book are given in chronological order. The problem with that approach, however, is that the tribulation ends several times in the book. 11, 14 through 19, 14, 13 through 20, 19, 11 through 21. Just as Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John give 4 accounts of the first advent, Revelation gives 4 accounts of the second advent. They are 1, the tribulation through the seal judgments, chapter 6. 2, the tribulation through the trumpet judgments, chapters 7 through 11. So that's where we're at right now. We're reading the trumpet judgments, 7 through 11. 3, the tribulation through the activities of the Antichrist, chapters 12 through 14. And 4, the tribulation through the vial judgments, chapters 15 through 19. Each account goes through the tribulation from start to finish with some parenthetical material inserted, chapters 7, 10, 12, and 13. So, that makes, that note alone just makes it so much easier. However, then you get into the discussions of dispensational theology. A lot of people reject that. Some crazy people say that the tribulation has already occurred, or there's conspiracy theorists now. People are so confused because of all the pharmaceutical brainwashing, all the food poisoning, all the psychological programming that you consume on the internet and everything, brain damage from all that. People are thinking that periods of time we've been lied to during different periods of time. We've had multiple resets throughout history, literal resets where the technology of people goes to a certain point and then we get wiped out and then history resets. It's crazy stuff, That's what they think. I'm not saying you're crazy if you think that. It's interesting, but I go with the Bible, and I think if something like 1/3 of the trees got burned up, I think people would figure it out. If that happened, or 1/3 of the water became poisoned or whatever. That's what we were just talking about in chapter 8 there. I think people would have figured it out. Admittedly, there is some fascinating architecture out there that is out of place a lot of times, but I think that has to do with brilliant people existing throughout history and probably the amazing things that they constructed were never acknowledged or they were suppressed in order to build low-income housing and housing that looks like garbage. What is that? Post-millennial architecture. It looks like garbage. That's what Satanists encourage today. They encourage garbage because they want all of us to live in garbage and to feel like garbage so that we are garbage and then we don't find Jesus Christ. Makes sense to me. But I think Jesus Christ has far bigger plans for us than any kind of architectural brainwashing or pharmacological brainwashing, if that's a word. Um, Jesus Christ wants to brainwash you spiritually through his word. So let's continue with chapter 9, which is titled Monster Mutants from the Pit. Sounds like the title of a old science fiction, one of those movies. So, oh boy, let's read it. We only got a couple notes here in chapter 9, but probably some fascinating stuff that we can talk about. So let's read it. Chapter 9 of Revelation, verse 1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. Wow. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. Wow. Well, I think that's, maybe that's connected with the sun. We lose the sunlight, and then, well, that happens during a volcano too. So, I don't know, could be either way. But anyway, I'll shut up. Smoke of the pit. 3. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given as the scorpions of the earth, was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. Wow. So if you take that mark of the beast, you're going to have to deal with these guys. It's not going to be good. Or you're on the fence about it. You don't go with God, but you don't take the mark, then these things have permission to harass you. If you are sealed in Jesus Christ and you're saved amidst the tribulation, then you'll be protected from these things. Interesting, huh? 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Isn't that fascinating? Sad. Can you imagine wanting to die for 5 months, and you can't? Or you're not allowed to? Yeah, they probably have no electricity. Half the stuff is burning. You can barely breathe. All the stores have been looted already. And you're just laying there and you're being eaten to death by a scorpion. Scorpion's not allowed to kill you, but he just sucks your blood for 5 months. Yeah, he's not allowed to kill you. He's just there. It's like he's tormenting you for 5 months. 5 months of being tortured. I can't imagine that. I'd have to end that pretty quick, Well, if I'm sealed with him and sealed with Jesus Christ in my forehead, I should be okay with God in their foreheads. Thank God. That's my first priority. That's what I do. Because being tortured for 5 months doesn't sound good. But think about these people. They've been living it up. They don't believe in any of this. They're not aware of any of this. You know, this should be obvious to a Christian when you start seeing all this happen. You know, you should just kind of, yeah, whatever. I mean, I feel bad for these people that they hated me and they didn't want to listen to what I was saying, you know, but everybody has a free will. They chose this, you know. They chose to reject God. They chose the world, the love of pleasure and the love of money and the love of cars and rap music and sorry, I really don't like rap music. I'm sorry. I know that's where Chris and I disagree. He loves his type music, but I can't deal with it. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure there's some we represent Jesus Christ type music that he likes, but I need some regular, you know, just like pleasant country type Christian music, worshiping God. Tap, doodle doo 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 da. That's more my type. Anyway, they like their music that is like the Batman music at the club. You know, with the Batman going in there beating everybody up. It's like the Max Payne going into the Ragnarok. You know, it's just constantly for like 4 hours. Like that's the kind of music they like, and that allows them to live their lives, to drive 500 miles an hour, ride their roller coasters, work their job, take their drugs, enjoy their lives. They never acknowledge Jesus Christ at any point in their life, and now this is what's happening to them, you know. Should you feel bad about it? They made their choice. You told them the truth. They laughed in your face. Here we are, you know. Not much you can do about it. Chris likes to dwell on that, you know. He likes to sit there and think, what if there was something I could do to get them to be, you know. You know, you've already talked their ear off over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And they still want to live their life like there's nothing you can do, you know. So just thank God that God has been merciful to you. But don't spend all day, you know, dwelling on, oh, I couldn't save that guy because he's listening to his do-do-do music, you know. Seven. Chapter 9, verse 7, in Revelation, and the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots, of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. Same thing. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. Okay. Verse 12. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the 6th angel, which had the trumpet, loosed the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loosed which were prepared for an hour and a day, and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. Wow. Poison gas? Partial. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not. That's the fascinating thing. Yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. Yeah, they don't care. They've chosen they've chosen to be pirates. I had that thought. Chris, I'm going to use you as an example again, kind of a side example again, I'm sorry. I don't like tattoos. I know you like your tattoos. Your tattoos are nice. He has some tattoos. He's got some crosses on his tattoos, and he wants to put another cross, I don't know, on his face or something. Which is, it's just his thing. But I just think the tattoos and the earrings and the piercings and all that, I think that has to do with being a pirate. I know, it's kind of out there, my thinking, but a pirate, though, that pirate mentality, it's just, I don't know, it's got that weird accent, and it's just stealing and going around on the ship and just piracy, looting stuff, and just drunkenness and everything, and parties and cannonballs, and they got to put all the tattoos on themselves, and they put all the hooks in themselves and everything. Captain Hook. I don't know. Why do people get the tattoos? Is it because they want to be a pirate? Because it looks cool? I know, Chris, you're an exception. You're putting the tattoo on to acknowledge God. That's how you want to do it. But I think most people get their tattoos because they just think it looks cool, whatever they end up getting. And I think it just makes them look like a pirate. Half these women around here, there's tattoo parlors like all around where I live. If you just look up Toledo, Ohio, and where is the concentration of tattoo parlors in the area, you'll find out where I live, okay? There's like 10 of them all down the same road, and all these women around here got all their pirate tattoos all over their arms, and it just, I don't get it. I could keep rambling about that, but I want to get to these notes. Okay, the first one is on verse 1 of chapter 9. And the 5th part sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. Okay, here's the note. Here is a pit in the center of the earth, like the inner hole of a donut. It is bottomless because it has no top or bottom, only sides. Isaiah 14:15. The modern counterfeit is a black hole. do I have anything to say about that? Well, I'm sure you'll learn more about, is this angel, is it the same as Abaddon? Let's see the other note here on 11. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. Okay, it is Abaddon. Well, there you go. Which is the angel of the bottomless pit. Here is a pit in the center of the earth. Bottomless because it has no only sides. So it is the same. I guess. I don't know. They had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. Okay, here's the note. Both Abaddon and Apollyon mean perdition. See note on 2 Thessalonians 2:3. The mystic Bible of the Babylonian Jews, the Zohar, says the Messiah is underground like Apollos in Greek mythology, waiting to come up to save Israel. The Babylonian Talmud says that when he comes, he will appear at the gates of Rome, having things totally backwards. The Jerusalem Targum says the Antichrist will come from Rome, and he will be Jesus Christ. Taloi, the hanged or cursed one. Wow. So this is kind of scary. So this is this one of the arms of the Antichrist? And so usually it's a three-part. It's an unholy trinity. So there will be an Antichrist, but there's going to be a false prophet, and maybe this is the dragon himself. I don't know. Interesting, right? The saddest thing about this is 20 and 21, right? And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk, neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. Isn't that amazing? 5 months of torture, and they still, it just shows the desensitization, if that's a word, the heartedness, you know, all that torture, and you'd think they'd cry out to God for mercy, you know, and apologize to God for being how they've been. Is there anything to that, you think, with me calling them a bunch of pirates? I don't know. Maybe I'm just prejudiced against tattoos. Sorry if I'm offensive, but it's just what I think anyway. I was going to do my pirate voice, but I'm going to stop talking. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.